Hey guys, I wanted to start today by giving you just three quick examples of problems in your homework that I feel like are the most challenging. So we're going to do three quick examples. If you write these examples down, I know that they'll help you with your homework that you're about to do. So let's go ahead and start with our first quick example. I'm going to call this example A. And let's go negative A equals negative 4. So the first thing we have to do when we start all of these problems, this is something I want you to do, I'm asking you to do, and you must do. I want you to separate your equation into two sides, the left side and the right side. I think that's important so we can see that there's two sides to this equation. So draw that line down the center. The next thing we need to do is we need to look at this and we need to say, hey, something's missing. And the thing that makes this a weird problem is that there's not a number with the A, but we can add a number in there. So I want you to take about 5 seconds and think, what number can we put in between the A and the negative sign? What number can we put right there and not change the problem? If you said a 1, you're correct. You're very correct. So let's take away that arrow, and let's solve the problem. Another thing that is non-negotiable that this class needs to do on every problem is for every problem I want you to write a 1, a 2, and a 3 down. And it can be small, but it's going to help us. Again, this is not optional. I want you to do this for all the problems. The first thing we have to ask ourselves is what needs to be moved. And in this problem, it's the negative 1. We need to move that negative 1. The second thing we have to ask ourselves is what kind of problem is it? So what I'm saying is, what kind of problem is this? Negative 1a. Well, it's a multiplication problem. So that's what we put here. And last but not least, we learned a vocabulary word yesterday called inverse operation, and that just means the opposite. So what is the opposite of what's going on? What's the opposite of multiplication? If you said division, then you are correct. So now we know what to do. We go from 3 to 1 here, and we're going to divide both sides by negative 1. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to go divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1. And what happens is that on this side, these negative 1s cancel out. They're not there anymore, which means that we're left with A equals. Now, on the right-hand side, we need to either mentally or pick up our calculator, do this side right here, and negative 4 divided by negative 1 is positive 4. So we've got our answer. That's the first example. So let's go to the second example. We'll roll right into it. We'll call this example B. And let's do a fraction problem this time. Let's do a fraction problem. Let's go 1 over 5x equals, we'll say 2 over 3. There we go. So again, I want you to start every problem by drawing a line down the center. And then over here to the right-hand side, just out of the way, we'll put 1, we'll put 2, and we'll put 3. Now, we never liked fractions. I didn't like fractions in high school, and I'm sure you don't either. But what I learned growing up and in college is that we shouldn't be afraid of fractions because they have the same rules. So let's ask ourselves these three questions. What needs to be moved? We want x to be completely by itself over here. So we're going to put our x there. What needs to be moved? If you said we need to move this 1/5 and get rid of it, then you're right. That's what we need to move. So first question, we need to move the 1/5. Second question, what kind of problem is it? Well, again, you have a number. This time it's a fraction, but that doesn't matter. You have a number pressed right next to a variable. And when you have a number, fraction, decimal, whole number, negative number pressed right next to a variable, then that is a multiplication problem. And the opposite of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide both sides by 1/5. So here we go. Divide by 1/5. Divide by 1/5. Now, chances are you'll need a calculator for this, and if you didn't get to use a calculator, I would agree these fraction problems could be pretty hard if you didn't get to use a calculator, but you get to use a calculator. So on your calculator, you're going to type in 2/3 divided by 1/5, and you should get 10/3. And that is your answer. So that's how we solve that problem. One more quick example, and then I'm going to let you finish up on your homework. Example letter C. This will be our last one. Let's do this one. Let's go x over -5 equals 2. Now, I know I've said it probably 3 or 4 times on this video, so hopefully it's sunk in. We start by drawing a line down the center, and we're going to go 1, we're going to go 2, and we're going to go 3. Okay, we need x to be by itself on this side, so what needs to be moved? If you said the 5 needs to be moved, or the -5, we need to take this number 5, -5, we need to move it over here, then you're right. So, what needs to be moved? -5. Now, this is a little bit different than our previous problem. Some people say, well, what kind of problem is this? It's just a fraction. Well, you're right, it is a fraction. But what kind of problem are fractions? This is x divided by -5. So our type of problem is division. And the opposite of division is multiplication. So we're going to multiply both sides by -5. So how do we write that? Well, let's go over here and try to squeeze it in here. We can go times -5. That's horrible. I'm going to erase that. See if I can erase that. Let's try this again, be a little bit neater. That's better. Times -5. Need to do it to this side too. Times -5. These right here cancel out. Get rid of them. And on this side, 2 times -5 is -10. -10 is our answer. So, I hope this helps. These 3 problems are like 3 of your problems that you'll have. The 2 things I want to stress to you is I do want you to draw this line. This is not optional. It's helpful, and it's going to be especially helpful whenever we do harder problems. And the second thing I want to stress to you is I do want you to do this 1, 2, 3 method. It's helpful. It really is. So you can stop this video, you can go to your notes, you can go to your homework, and you should be able to finish your homework up. If you have any questions, you can raise your hand. I hope this helped, and have a great afternoon.